Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, our lives. Let's jump right on in. I'm Andy, and joining me in everything is Mina.
So let's talk about foods. So
When you're talking
there's like natural foods, like real foods, and there is not very real foods that kind of look like food, but not really a food.
Okay. So what are you talking about when it comes to natural foods? What exactly you're saying? Because everything nowadays is labeled all natural, right?
Well, natural to me would be something that it's like you know where it came from. So you know that an apple came from a tree. You know that piece of steak came from an animal. You know that the lettuce came from a lettuce plant.
So you're talking about things that's not coming pre-packaged in packages like
Yeah, so
boxes,
it's nothing's
bags,
come
and
in a
cans.
box, right? So when you walk in a grocery store, there's always the things on the outside.
Hmm.
It's the fruits and vegetables, the cheese, the bread, and all that. So those are somewhat real foods, right? I
Hmm.
don't know, but the breast, but the vegetable part is real. But everything in the middle, those are all the things that comes in boxes and bags and prepackaged, and all those to me is processed foods.
And nowadays they're actually getting, what they classify as ultra processed foods.
So what is ultra processed?
Well, ultra processed, the way I look at it is when they try to make processed food taste like real food, right? They got all these chemical binders to start making them look like real food. They got all these flavorings and chemicals to make it taste like real food, or even to make veggie burgers bleed like a beef burger. To me, it's just insane. If you can't replicate it at home, you shouldn't be eating it.
So why do people choose to buy processed foods? Because when we did that like long time ago, right, over 10 years ago, and it cost us a lot more than when we switch over to buying real foods. Our grocery budget actually went down a lot.
Dramatically, and,
Hmm.
and we're buying all organic now too,
Yeah, for
which is
sure.
actually quite surprising because people's always saying how expensive organic foods are, right? I think a lot of people they sacrifice their health really for convenience.
Yeah, I can see that. You
Yeah,
know how people keep talking about them being busy, busy,
like,
busy.
exactly.
And that's something that bothers me a lot when people tell you that I'm busy, I cannot cook, or don't have time to cook, I don't have time to, make something real for my kids. I just pick up a box of something on the way home. That gets me because I'm all about productivity. I'm all about finding time, right? And if you don't have time to cook, you have a problem.
That is true. That is true because you're basically spending time somewhere else where it shouldn't be spent,
Yeah.
right?
So, from a productivity standpoint or time management standpoint, there's something you're doing wrong. That's why you don't have time to do what's actually important to you, which is, you know, cooking something that's healthy for your family.
So, what do you think would be some great tips that we can give our viewers to be more productive at home in the kitchen?
Great question. So I came up with this blog from Mark's Daily Apple. So Mark Sisson he's the founder of Primal Kitchen, which is we use the mayonnaise, and then we have
Yes,
like organic tomato,
the
ketchup and
ketchup.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? So he's the founder, and he's a really old guy, but he's in really good shape. So on one of his recent blogs, he talks about tips to efficient cooking, which I thought is a really good idea because you people out there that says you don't have time to cook. There's some tips you can do to cut down your cooking time.
And the first step is starting with a clean kitchen. What exactly does that mean?
It applies to the kitchen, it applies to your office and everywhere else. You have to have a clean kitchen to actually have things that you need set aside so you can actually start cooking. So if everything is dirty, then your first step is actually to clean them, which is going to take you more time.
So, when you talk about clean kitchen, not only is it has to be clean, but organized too.
Clean, organized, you know exactly where things are, and you can just take them out and use it. You don't have to like re-clean it or whatever it is that you do with those pots and pans.
So when you have a clean kitchen, that 30-second rule should be okay. You drop something on the floor or off the chopping block, quickly throw it back on the chopping block or back into your salad and just keep on mixing away, right?
I don't do that, but I'm thinking about maybe do you do that?
My kitchen's clean. You can eat off the floor. That's how clean it is.
Your kitchen is my kitchen. Okay, you eat it off the floor. So actually, the second tip is to have sharp knives.
Yes, this is a very important one, and I'm the one that sharpens the knives. And Minna, why don't you tell them what happens when you don't have a sharp knife and you're trying to cut something that's very hard?
Well, I thought it was counterintuitive. You think that a sharp knife is easy to cut yourself, but it's actually the opposite. Because when your knives are not sharp enough, you tend to use a lot more force and you start to jiggle the knives a little bit to try to cut into it, and you slip. And that's when I cut my fingers a lot of times.
Yeah, there's one time she literally almost cut it off, and that to me was more scary than anything else. And guess what she was cutting? You were cutting what?
I don't remember.
I do. It was a lemon.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a lemon.
It was a hard lemon.
It wasn't that fresh, but the knife wasn't that sharp. That's why it slipped, and that's why sharp knives are very important. Much cleaner cuts and much safer.
Yeah. So the third point, which is prepare ahead of time, I think that makes sense too, because like when you're doing a lot of chopping and I don't know whatever it is that you do,
the cook prep time,
the prep time, a lot of things you can actually do ahead of time when you are not that busy, and just put them into containers and you can take it out and use it.
Yeah, I think, I know a lot of people, a lot of personal trainers, they said you can cook for the week. I honestly don't like the idea, but if you don't have time, a lot of people do that over the Sunday, over the weekend. But, there's nothing saying that you can't pre-wash and chop stuff that you can be using the following day.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to pre-cook it, but maybe just pre-prep it.
Yeah, I think prepping it makes a big difference. Especially when you do
like a complicated salad when you have 10 different things. Cut some of them ahead of time, then you just take them on.
Well, and I think one of the biggest things is snacking, right? A lot of people says they like something sweet, but and when I tell them, well, you need to eat fruits, and so, but then I need to wash my grapes, I need to wash my strawberries, I need to wash my blueberries. Guess what? If you wash it in the morning, you can snack it at nighttime, right? You just pull it out of the fridge.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. Of course, because most of the time I'm washing it.
And of course, when you're cooking, one of the time-saving tips is to clean as you go. So as you're cooking, when you're stirring or you're waiting for things to boil or whatever, just clean the other stuff that's ready to be cleaned.
Yeah, that's usually a very good idea, because when I'm cooking, there's just stuff all over the kitchen.
That's when you cook.
That's what I said. I said that when I'm cooking, but I do a great job cooking.
Okay, sure. So just because I'm into productivity, I'm going to throw in a few more tips. Number 5 is something I learned from a master class. So from this French chef that she's blah, 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 blah. And she said something about mise en place. I don't know what that is. So all it means is just have everything in place. It's kind of how people do cooking demonstrations. So they have the salt, the pepper, the spices, and everything laid out. So when you're demoing it, you just have to put it in and then put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that just means you have everything in place. You don't have to go look for a bottle of something and a bottle of something else, and that takes a lot more time. So putting things in place is actually a very good tip.
I like that. And I noticed that you do that a lot when we're doing our biohacking videos.
Because you have to. I don't want to see me looking for like a bottle of oil or something, right?
And then number 6, plan ahead. What are you talking about by planning ahead? Because of course we're talking about planning here.
Yeah, so planning ahead means like you're planning for the week or however you want to cut up your day. So usually people plan for the week. What are you going to eat for the rest of like Monday to Friday if you go on weekends. Just make sure that you have what you need. Buy everything that you need over the weekend and plan what you have, what you're going to make, and prep them all ahead of time.
Yeah, and just one quick tip: plan for the week. Don't try to plan for 2 weeks, because more than likely you're gonna throw stuff out that goes bad. And we were guilty of that for a while. So now we're almost like we just buy enough. Here's the 5 days, and on the weekend we go to eat. Simple.
Yeah, which is basically our last point, which is something that Kathy Keeler taught us before.
Yes.
It's called Sunday Setup. So she basically she's a trainer, right?
Yes.
She's a trainer for Hollywood celebrities. So what she does is on Sunday she goes ahead and prep everything, chop it up, and put them in the boxes, and that's her Sunday setup.
Yeah, and then it's ready for the rest of the week, right? So we talk about the prep, right? So why do you need to eat more natural foods?
Well, it's basically lower inflammation. We were just talking about that when we're eating lunch. This lower inflammation is more alkaline. It's basically we have less joint pain. You'd be definitely cheaper for you in the long run. You get a little smarter because you have less brain fog, and it's also a great way to maintain a healthy weight.
Exactly, and it lowers your blood sugar, which is also great to fend off a lot of chronic health conditions.
For sure. So before we go, I know that you wanted to talk about some foods that you want to cut out.
There are just some foods that I think we should cut out if this is in your refrigerator or sitting on top of your refrigerator. First one is sugary breakfast cereals. Throw them all out. I don't care what cereal it is, no matter what brand. Could be Cheerios for all that matters. No cereal is healthy.
All bad.
All bad. Second one is deli meats. Anything that goes in a sandwich, throw it out. All bad. The next one, hard for me to throw out because I am guilty of it. Potato chips. Most of them, a lot of salt, a lot of bad sugar, a lot of bad seasoning. Throw it out.
Buy the good one with good oil.
Yeah, it has to be good oil and just potatoes, just 2 ingredients, right? One more is processed cheese slices. Those aren't actually cheese. I don't know what they are. They make great grilled cheese sandwiches, but they're not made of cheese. So just chemicals that is an orange color that melts. Throw it out. And the last one is soda. I don't care if it is regular soda or sugar-free soda, diet soda, whatever it is, just cut it out. These things can cause chronic inflammation, brain fog, and a lot of studies have shown they lead to the big C. So make sure you cut those out. We ran a little long. We'll be right back after these commercials. All right, strap in, folks. We're about to take a joyride through the fountain of youth. It's Annie Nam from Chronically Healthy Life. Ever wonder why some folks seem to age like fine wine, while others are more like a molded cheese that's been forgotten in the back of the fridge? It's like they got the energy of a Duracell bunny on Red Bull, while the rest of us are running on fumes. Now, you might think hitting the gym and munching on kale is the ticket to eternal youth, but sometimes it feels more like we're just speeding up the aging process. Picture this. You're on the treadmill, feeling like $1,000,000, and suddenly you look down and realize your knees sound like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Not exactly the sound of youth, am I right? But fear not, my friends, because here's the kicker. It's not just about the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's all about those sneaky little stem cells playing hide and seek inside your body. At the age of 20, you got more of these bad boys than you can shake a stick at. But fast forward a few decades, and they're scarce as a parking spot in downtown Manhattan. But guess what? We got a secret weapon up our sleeves. Phototherapy patch technology without drugs. That's right, folks. With our stem cell activation patches, you can hit the rewind button on aging faster than you can say reverse aging. So if you're ready to reclaim your youth, look younger, feel stronger, and heal faster than a superhero with a side of espresso, then it's time to hop on board the rejuvenation train. Schedule your free consultation now at calendly.com/thefoolishcouple/stem cells. And let's make aging look like yesterday's news. It's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging, baby.
Hey, everybody. This week I'd like to talk about after school activities. So I know a lot of parents worry when their kids come home from school that they got to get their homework done right away. And I think that might be a little bit of a mistake because there's so much pressure. I mean, they come home from school, they're tired, they're hungry. So I'm going to make the recommendation that they get a snack and then they do physical activity. They've been sitting in a classroom for 7-8 hours and with very few breaks. And physical activity, take a walk, go for a swim, just play outside with their siblings or their friends, ride their bike, something, even if you put a timer on it for, say, 30 minutes, for example, it's still going to be better and help them. That physical activity gets them breathing, gets oxygen flowing to their brains. And then when they sit down to do their homework, they're going to be fresh and they're going to be much more able to cope. If you have a child who is dealing with any kind of learning difference, that is going to be extra beneficial for them because it's going to help them relieve some pressure before they come back to work. And that is a really important valve. It's also really important for us when we come home from work, especially if we're bringing home work to do later in the evening, for us to take a break too. Physical activity is the number one thing that helps us function. So go out and do something you love, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. If you like to run, run. If you like to swim, swim, whatever it is, and give yourself that break. Give yourself permission to be human and not put so much pressure on yourself or on your kids.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life show. Today, I am just thrilled to welcome my good friend, Amanda Beth Johnson. She stands out as a guiding light for individuals navigating divorce, drawing upon her experiences as a child of divorce, a divorcee herself, and a mother. A best-selling author and speaker with over 3 decades of crisis intervention experience and 6 ThetaHealing certifications, Amanda's expertise reflects her dedication to guiding others through adversity with compassion and wisdom. Her journey is a testament to resilience and healing, offering solace to those seeking support and empowerment. Welcome, 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 Amanda.
Oh, Chrissy, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it when I was here before, and we're gonna have another good time tonight.
Oh my goodness, yes, definitely for sure. Well, let's just jump right in. I would like, I know you've been on this incredible journey to become a theta healer. Before we start talking about that, can you define for our audience what theta healing is?
Oh,
Can
goodness.
just generally?
Generally, so theta healing is a modality of energy healing. It is a practice that was created and is taught by Vienna Steibel. So it's a method where I utilize a theta brainwave to co-create change for individuals, and our changes that we're able to do go clear down to the cellular and the DNA level to create lasting changes. For people so they can move forward, get past, a lot of things we focus on are limiting beliefs. And a lot of the people I see, it's about their happiness, and it also entails their physical and mental health.
Oh, well, of course it does. It makes sense to me. I mean, how many people go through hypnosis and other kinds of things for, I don't know what to call it, brain training? So, well, let's talk about you. So, what are some of the pivotal moments in your life that felt maybe like failures to you when they were happening, but that shaped your journey toward the healing?
Oh goodness. So I'm a Gen X kid, so there's a lot of things in our lives that were just kind of those aha moments. We were the original latchkey kids, and we grew up in a time when our parents were that next generation working, and we were to be seen and not heard. And so figuring out a lot of life lessons going through that. I found out in my college years that the reason I struggled so much through primary school and high school, just barely getting through high school, had to do with my learning disabilities and learning as I was going through college that I, in fact, am dyslexic and dysgraphic. So my brain processes things differently. I don't learn and interpret things the way most everybody else does. Obviously, I'm capable of learning, but I just take it at a little bit different avenue. And so getting that huge thing underway so that I was able to have a successful college education was important. Um, I was widowed when I was 27 and went through a lot of difficulties there, just kind of this whole spiritual and your relationship with creator there, going on forward in life, having worked in crisis intervention through the social work field, being in EMS, learning a lot of different things, having that career in human services, leaving human services and taking a leap of faith and becoming a graphic designer, and making signs and doing graphic design when my youngest child came along, and learning all of that as well. Ultimately, I think the biggest thing in my life that was the challenge that made me really take inventory on what happened in my life was going through my divorce. And I'm not the only person to do it. Unfortunately, the statistics tell us that 41% of marriages end in divorce. But I think that that was biggest catalyst for me to look back and look at so many different things in life that just didn't go the way I wanted, and gave me that opportunity to look at how I wanted life to go and what I wanted to do.
You
And that's
know,
when I found Theta Healing.
that is amazing. I think so many of us, we tend to beat ourselves up for making a mistake. I know I'm guilty of thinking, why didn't I do something different? Well, at the time, we have to remember we did the best we could at the time, and we didn't know then what we know now. So
Absolutely. Very true. Very true.
no more beating ourselves up or beating up it's like, I've been talking a lot about just relax, and it's okay. It's all okay. Take the pressure off.
Yeah, as long as we learn as we go along.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the key to everything, Yeah. Yeah. So, just give us an example of like some kind of a transformation that happened with your healing process, either yours or someone else's. Is there any juicy story you can tell us?
Oh goodness. So for myself, one of the biggest things that I did, and I know this sounds really crazy, was forgiveness. And a lot of that forgiveness was forgiving myself for being and doing and learning the way that I did. And so forgiving myself and forgiving others as well along this path. Learning that positivity and the gratitude allowed me to look for that gold nugget and that silver lining in everything that I did. And when you start looking for positive, you find it. When you look for negative, you get up grumpy, you have a bad morning and you dwell on that bad morning, you bet you're going to have a bad day. But when you look at it, my favorite one is when I missed putting the creamer back in the refrigerator and it fell on the floor and the lid broke. I was so glad that it only spilled a couple of drops. It landed upright. So I was thankful I didn't have to wash the whole kitchen floor. And so being thankful for those little things, I know it sounds crazy. Working with my clients, being able to help them to move forward past the obstacles that they have. I've worked with, I used to work in a medical office when I was first launching my Theta business. And the doctor, she's as holistic as she can be. She's an osteopath. She had this pain, had been going on for 3 months. And she had done radiological studies, lab studies. There was nothing that could explain this pain. So I did a quick little session with her, and it went back to a childhood event that, when I said, well, we talked about the feeling, we talked about that event, and we talked about the feeling that went with that. And we were able to release that incident, and her pain went away. When we started talking, her pain was like a 12. It was just awful. When we were done talking, I asked her pain level. It's a 3. Well, this was 3 years ago. She still doesn't have that same pain back, and she's done nothing differently. Yeah. So it changes it. It changes what it was, what that block was that put it in motion.
That's amazing. I love that. It's like it releases from your tissues when,
Yes.
just very organically. That's an amazing story. Well, do you think that people have misconceptions about energy healing? I know I hear a lot of people say things like, very derogatory terms like witchcraft and black magic or something. And I'm thinking to myself, your body's made to heal. So
Yeah. So yeah, being on the woo side of the world and speaking freely about woo, it's not received by everybody, and that's okay. That's okay. There's plenty of people that do want to get better, and they do want to embody the healing that they have. So people say there's not enough scientific studies. Well, those studies are coming out. Reiki is now so accepted, some insurance companies are paying for it. So the studies are there. They're coming up. We're getting better with that. Some people look at it and say, oh, it's just a placebo. Well, first of all, I don't believe it's a placebo, but the benefit of it is, looking at it from that perspective, is you have to believe in it. If you believe a medication your doctor gave you isn't going to work, I guarantee you it's not going to work. If you believe that eating healthy is going to make you feel better, you're halfway there. So some things it is what we believe it is. And sometimes people, we talked about the woo factor. They think it's only for spiritual or new age people. And the reality is energy healing dovetails with so many other practices and therapies to help you get that last little piece in there to help you, get set on your path. So, and not all energy healers are the same. There are so many different modalities. My preferred modality is theta healing, but I also dabble a bit and use other techniques such as EFT and emotion code and tapping. All of those things, they all come together to work. But it also takes a lifestyle change, and people have to invest in themselves. It's not a done for you thing. You need to participate. Just going to the gym is not going to make you fit and trim and buff. It comes in with your self-care and your diet and those other things you do, the people you expose yourself to, the environments that you're in. So it comes to a lot of, there's more than just yes or no on spiritual healing.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. And and another thing is, it's okay to take it one step at a time. I think we just put so much pressure on ourselves all the time that we have to somehow be perfect. We have to do everything perfectly. We have to be amazing at everything. And sometimes, you know what? You just need to lay on the couch and watch Netflix or read a book or take a
Yes.
walk or and give yourself permission for it to be okay. And that is part of the healing.
Right. It is. Being comfortable with who you are and accepting who you are, and then taking all those good little golden nuggets and polishing them up to be the best that they can be.
That's so important. It's the little things that add up more.
Yeah.
That adds up, and then suddenly you get this big moment, and you think, oh, "I'm having a miracle," and you are, but it's more attributable to the work you've done.
Right. But you still need to celebrate that. Celebrate every win, no matter how tiny it is. Celebrate it and live it big, and have the gratitude. The more grateful we are, the more we have. And if we don't show gratitude for it, we don't have it very long.
Yes, gratitude. And we've sort of touched on the self-care. So a lot of energy healers, I've been guilty of this myself. We tap in and we take it on ourselves instead of allowing the healing to come from whatever you want to call God or source or the creator or the universe. It doesn't really matter what word is attached. We all know this higher self, higher beingness. And so how do you integrate the self-care into your practice?
So most of my mornings I get up, and I prefer to get up without an alarm clock. That's a nice start of my day. And spending time just being, enjoying that oneness, a bit of meditation in there. Sometimes I throw in some tapping if I feel my day is going to be particularly challenging, but just having that downtime in the morning, have my coffee, talk with the dogs, and then I will look at my schedule. I will, I do all of this before I look at the phone, before I return phone calls, giving myself that downtime. And that's really, really important. I know when I got one of the tracker watches that coordinated with my phone, and it was insisting on doing this whole sleep thing. And it's like, well, but you know what? It's really nice to not go through and turn off all of those notifications every night. The phone just automatically does it. Your sleep is so important, and working on that gratitude, having at least 3 positives when you get up in the morning, and looking at the end of the day, if you have your gratitude rock or whatever is near you at night, that you can think through all the great things that happened during the day and think of the best thing that happened, and then tell it to that rock that you put on your headboard or under your pillow. That way you're beginning your day with positive thoughts of gratitude, and you're ending your day with positive thoughts as well. And I know it sounds like foo-foo and rainbow dust, but it helps. It keeps you in that positivity.
I love that. A gratitude rock. I think that's a really fun idea.
And it could be anything you want it to be, just whatever works for you. Actually, I have a big rock that's not really pretty, but gosh, I can find it and I can leave it there, and yeah, the gratitude rock.
I love it. I love it. Well, so let's say that you were talking to someone who's really stuck in a cycle of, oh, I'm such a failure. I messed up this and I messed up that, and and but they're reaching out. Maybe they're thinking, could this help me? What would you say to that person to help them
I would
along?
say, yeah, when you get to the point that you're tired of being stuck, when you realize you're stuck, when you realize you don't have to live every day stuck, reach out, give me a call. But I think that we all kind of get to that. We all get where we start questioning, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm destined for this life because of something that happened in my childhood, or my family's always done it this way, and those things that get stuck with us. And so we just think that we're unworthy and that we don't deserve that. A lot of people think, oh, it's too late. I'm over 40, life's over. Life is only beginning. Life is only beginning, trust me. Or they don't think they have the money, the time, or the resources. And the reality is, healing really doesn't cost that much when you look at the alternatives, especially if you don't take some corrective action and feel better about yourself. What are you going to do? What do we do how do we self-medicate that stuck, that, I don't want to feel good? We binge watch TV, we eat poorly, we engage in substances, we do things that are not healthy. And although they are, only so many dollars for a bucket of ice cream, how long is it going to take you to recover from the damage you do? Where if you take it and you do that healing now, then you can live happier and more prosperous, and you don't cost yourself so much. Some people just don't think that they can change. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always got to be. That's how it is. No, it doesn't. You can always change if you want to. I mean, you kind of got to wanna. So,
I have to tell you. So my dad died 3 weeks ago, and Annie and Minna graciously allowed me to take a little time away from the show to have some healing time of my own. And my dad was one of those types of people where he insisted that he was very, very sick, and he just kept running to the doctor, and he was taking 6,000 different medications, and all he ate was diet soda because he was diabetic, so he had to have diet soda, and junk and everything, and all he did was complain, and he was mean and nasty. and no matter what I said, he shot me down because he literally told me he didn't want to hear it. And I always felt so bad. And what I went through the past 3 weeks with my own healing was that I found myself hoping that he never found any joy or peace in the life. So I hope he found it after. And, for everybody in our audience who's listening, we're alive. Life is meant to be joyful. Not every second is whoa, but it's
Oh yeah, there's some bad stuff. Bad stuff happens, going through your father's death. You knew he wasn't well before, but that's still a processing thing. And I'd say those negative things are placed there so that we appreciate the positives that much more. It helps us to balance.
Exactly. And the more we practice this kind of thing, we just are generally happier. And things are easier because we don't take everything so seriously.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Well, listen, I would love it if you could share some practical tools or techniques that our audience could maybe use right now to start along a healing journey, because sometimes it's easier for us to start something privately within ourselves and get kind of into the swing of things.
Well, the gratitude practice is a huge one. And I think that was one of the first things that I did was learning to be grateful. Rhonda Byrne has the book, The Magic, and it's a 29-day practice. And you just read one little chapter every day of something to do to bring about and to remind you to be thankful and grateful. Doing that, as well as acknowledging the power of your thought and your word. When you think things that aren't positive and good, when you say things that aren't positive and good, you need to throw those out. You need to throw those, surrender those to your higher power, let them be cleaned and brought back to the earth in positive energy. Those are two of the biggest things you can do. Gratitude practice, and then be aware of the power, because if you tell yourself something long enough, you do believe it. If it's good or if it's bad, you believe it. And as children, when we are told things about us that make us question who we are, those things stick. Those tapes still play in our head until you go through a healing process and remove them. But what do you think? Do you think our audience would like to have some theta healing? Do we have time?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
For a very short, I think it would be an interesting experience to do
Okay. So if people were in a session with me, we usually do muscle testing to make sure we get the yeses and the nos, so that you know that you have the limiting belief and the belief gets changed. So in theta healing, it is important that you have 4 basic beliefs in order to receive a healing. First of all, you have to want to have an instant healing. You need the belief that you want the instant healing, that you deserve an instant healing, that an instant healing is possible, and that you understand how theta healing can work for you. I know I've run them all together, but what I do for people is I go up. So I'm going to drop into a theta brainwave, go up and co-create that everyone has those beliefs in place so that they will be able to accept the next changes we'll do real quickly. So just bear with me. You may or may not feel the energy work. And people who are catching this on the recording, you are going to get the same benefit as everybody who's live, because it's energy. It's not created or destroyed. It will be there for you. I just need you to say yes out loud to receive those beliefs. So just say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. When I do energy work, sometimes I look like I have tics. Really, I'm not going into a seizure. That's just how the energy affects me. So the things we talked about a few minutes ago about worthiness, a lot of us have those blocks about being worthy. It probably goes to a lot of things that are a lot deeper than that, but I would like to remove the belief that you are unworthy and what prevents you from feeling worthy, as well as the idea that it's too late for you to experience a change or a healing in your life. And let's remove the obligation that you don't have time or money or resources to do a healing. Let's remove that, remove whatever prevents you from feeling that you have those things. Remove the whatever prevents you from wanting and desiring a positive change in your life, as well as let's remove concern about what others would have judgment against you. I think that's one of those things people worry about. Well, if I start feeling better and I don't have the same circle of friends, what are they going to think of me? Well, what they think is really none of your business. So let's remove the obligation to accept others' judgments. So if you'd like all of those beliefs, just say yes. And I'm going to say, let's put in some forgiveness. So to forgive yourself for creating those beliefs in the first place or accepting them, and forgive God, Creator, your higher power, spirit, source, whatever your word is, just plug that in. And then let's also forgive any people that had a hand in creating that. You just say yes out loud, and you'll get these in the recording as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How does it feel, Christy?
That's so funny. I just had this wave of lightheadedness, and then like something lifted off my shoulders. That's how it felt for me. I know everybody's going to feel different. That's how but the lightheadedness was like, woo, talk about woo.
And those were just some tiny beliefs, and it was very quick work. But yes, all of my clients, that's the most common. It's like, whoo, I feel lighter. I feel relieved. I feel eager. So yeah, if you're interested in just kind of learning some more before you commit, I do offer discovery calls as well.
Okay, well, we'll put that up in a moment. But before that, you are an author.
Yes.
I would love to hear about your book.
Oh, so yes. So all the stuff we just talked about, my life story, going through all of those things and those positive and negative things that happened in my life, all of those things that made me who I am today. And I talk about my experience in stumbling into Theta Healing and then being encouraged to learn Theta Healing so that I could continue working on myself, as well as making these changes for other people so that other people can have a positive outlook in their life and move on.
So her title is Blooming into Life, an Energy Healing Journey. Yeah, there it is.
There
And
it is. That's my book.
code on the screen for you if you want to capture that.
Yeah.
And now, Amanda, how can people reach out to you?
So probably one of the easiest things to do is to just look me up online. My website, there we go, is amandabethhealing.com. On Facebook, it's the same, Amanda Beth Healing. And then also I have a YouTube channel that we're really doing a lot of changes on, that is Amanda at Iowa Salt Pod. And the Salt Pod comes in because I also own a float center. So that was my intro into being offering healing and improvement in people's quality of life. So.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. This was so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And yes, we talk about being chronically healthy. We have to come from a place of our heart and our healing and connecting with ourselves to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody, we'll be right back with the biohacking tip of the week. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, it's Andy from Chronically Healthy Life. Today I want to talk about pineapples for a biohack. And why pineapples? Well, pineapples are full of nutrients. They're a powerhouse filled with vitamins and minerals. They're full of A and C. They have manganese, magnesium, they have calcium, they have potassium. These are very important electrolytes that help charge your body and help you create energy. So it's a great way to get your electrolytes. On top of that, pineapples are full of bromelain. And if you haven't heard of bromelain, this is going to be very important for you. Bromelain can lower triglycerides and cholesterol. So it's good for your heart, good for your liver. Bromelain is anti-inflammatory, so it can actually lower inflammation in your body. And of course, we always want to lower inflammation in the body because inflammation causes all diseases in the body, right? And bromelain is a great digestive enzyme. And the problem with a lot of us is we're probably tend to eat way too much because food is yummy. And as we're younger, we have plenty of digestive enzymes. So of course we can handle eating as much as you can. But as we get older, guess what? Our bodies start declining in digestive enzymes. And sometimes we need a little boost to help break down those foods that we eat, right? So bromelain is a great digestive enzyme for that. So if you're eating pineapples after a meal, guess what? You're actually helping breaking down the food after. So the reason I want to talk about bromelain today is it also has a very important function that may help a lot of people that is getting sick all the time around this season, right? It's antiviral season, it's viral season, and a lot of people may be getting COVID over and over again. And of course, COVID now is not as dangerous as it was 4 years ago, right? But if you're still getting sick over and over again, maybe you got that nasty spike protein inside your body that's just continuously continue to replicate, which can be a problem because it can lower your immune system. So bromelain is one of the compounds studied that is known to break down the spike protein. Did you get that? It actually can break down the spike protein. And of course, there are other protocols that can help break down the spike protein and get it outside your body. If you want to find out those protocols, definitely reach out to us. We can help you with that. But bromelain is a natural way, and of course, pineapples are yummy. That's why we're talking about pineapples today. So how can you eat pineapples? A lot of times, you can cut them up, throw them on the grill, on the Barbie, grill it up. Amazing. So sweet, so smoky, tastes great. Right? If you don't have a Barbie or you don't have a grill, chop it up. Right? Put it into your salad. You can have it as a quick snack after dinner for those digestive enzymes. For the stems or the parts that aren't as ripe, we put it into our Vitamix. We blend it up. We use it for smoothies, or we blend it up all the way down and it turns into juice. And we can use that as a pick-me-up after workout because of the electrolytes, right? Or we can actually add that to our tea at nighttime when we're, drinking our tea before we go to sleep. Great way to sweeten it up a little bit with the digestive enzymes and the bromelain. So these are ways to get pineapples into your diet, and the importance of bromelain is so important right now. Not only as we're getting older to help us digest the food, but also to help us degrade that nasty spike protein. I hope this tip helps you a lot. We hope to see you next week. All right, strap in, folks. We're about to take a joyride through the fountain of youth. It's Andy Nam from Chronically Healthy Life. Ever wonder why some folks seem to age like fine wine, while others are more like a moldy cheese that's been forgotten in the back of the fridge? It's like they got the energy of a Duracell bunny on Red Bull, while the rest of us are running on fumes. Now, you might think hitting the gym and munching on kale is the ticket to eternal youth, but sometimes it feels more like we're just speeding up the aging process. Picture this. You're on the treadmill, feeling like $1 million, and suddenly you look down and realize your knees sound like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Not exactly the sound of youth, am I right? But fear not, my friends, because here's the kicker. It's not just about the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's all about those sneaky little stem cells playing hide and seek inside your body. At the age of 20, you got more of these bad boys than you can shake a stick at. But fast forward a few decades, and they're scarce as a parking spot in downtown Manhattan. But guess what? We got a secret weapon up our sleeves. Phototherapy patch technology without drugs. That's right, folks. With our stem cell activation patches, you can hit the rewind button on aging faster than you can say reverse aging. So if you're ready to reclaim your youth, look younger, feel stronger, and heal faster than a superhero with a side of espresso, then it's time to hop on board the rejuvenation train. Schedule your free consultation now at calendly.com/thefoolishcouple/stem cells. And let's make aging look like yesterday's news. It's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging, baby.
Hello, we are Mutts and Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life show. We were just talking about that gratitude rock, and we're saying, what's our gratitude rock when we go to sleep?
I think when I was a kid, I saw this comic where a kid was dragging a rock around on a leash. That's what I have in my mind, but it's a completely different thing. I feel like this is very different.
That's a pet rock.
Okay. I need to switch my head around.
But no, that was actually very interesting, starting with gratitude in the morning in the gratitude journal, and then basically channeling all the gratitude you had for the rest of the day before you sleep. I think that's a great idea. Most of us probably do start off with gratitude in the morning, but not too many of us finish it off with gratitude at night. And that's probably why a lot of people aren't sleeping well at night.
Well, you know how when you watch like the demon movies?
Yes.
They capture the demon in a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the rock as a vessel, except it's capturing gratitude instead of demons.
I love that analogy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
we have another special guest next week. Her name is Nan.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about depression and how that's affecting our lives.
So next episode may be a little bit depressing.
You need a gratitude rock.
And make sure you get your gratitude rock to start off the episode. But, jokes aside, depression is a real thing, and it's a mental disorder that so many people are facing nowadays. So we really hope that a lot of people that are facing depression or know someone that's facing depression to make sure they tune into next week's episode.
So join us back here on Friday, 7 p.m. CST. You can watch past episodes at watch.e360tv.com in the Vitality TV network or on our YouTube channel. And if you'd like to know more about what we do and how we can help you, visit us on our website at chronicallyhealthylife.com. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Hi, Laura Cross, your host for Mindful Mondays, every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time, where you can embark on a transformative journey of self-care and ultimate happiness. Tune in to the Voyage to Vitality channel on the Achieve TV network. Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. Be there, be mindful, and join us on E360 TV.